With Factor, you can skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Get 50% off with code JTrain50 at factormeals.com/JTrain50. That's 50% off with code JTrain50 at factormeals.com/JTrain50. This is JTrain, Jared Freed, coming live from the West Village of Manhattan. We're here every Monday with your emails, your stories, your questions. I say it every episode. Let me say it again. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for telling a friend, a coworker, a brother, a sister, a mama, a papa. The numbers are up currently on this podcast. Shelby went into went behind the scenes, behind the curtain, showed me some of the numbers, and we want to welcome the new listeners. Thank you for joining us. All we ask of any listener is enjoy the podcast. Send in your emails, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. Any question about lifestyle, friendship, relationships. We love something specific, meat on the bone. Let us gnaw at your problem. And then we got sponsors. Use the promo codes if they can help you. Again, if they can help you. I don't know. Some of these things you go, that's not for me. I get it. Or you can just tell a friend. Make it your Instagram story. Alert the townspeople of this great podcast that you enjoy listening to. It's a Monday. It is a sleepy, rainy Monday we tape this on. Next week, hopefully, it will be a bright Monday. I don't know. I'm in this Monday, rainy, sleepy zone. I don't know. I'm feeling it today. But I'm at peace. I don't know. I feel good. I'm on the road. I guess I'm at peace because I'm about to do this new show. I got a new hour from the special. Oh, okay, the special's out, 37 and Single. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. If you haven't shared it, let people know. It's on Netflix. It's just the next 2 years, this special is just out there. So if you're going to maybe come to my show, you should and you want to bring friends, I would send the special to a friend and be like, this is what this guy does. This is the vibe. But I'm doing a total new hour. And it's been a lot of fun to do. It's all about family. So I think people will enjoy it. If you're listening now, I guess maybe I'm at peace because I'm going to Atlanta this week. I love Atlanta. It's been a long time. So if you came to the Atlanta show, thank you. I'm coming to Huntington, Long Island. I've never been, but all I keep hearing, Huntington, Long Island is a place where you can tell it's on the rise or that people like it because every time you bring it up, people go, no, it's great. Oh, my God, no, it's great. Maybe it's an age thing. Maybe they're maybe the people around my age, it just comforts them. It's not like New York City, but it's also not like bumblefuck. There's things going on, but not too many things. There's chairs in the bar. Maybe that's it. Huntington, Long Island, I'll be there this week. And then Seattle added a second show. Charlotte, I'm coming for a whole weekend. Philly, Syracuse was just added. D.C., Baltimore, Dania Beach, Portland, Oregon, Arizona, Phoenix, San Diego, Boston, Chicago. Always adding more dates. I think we're adding Minneapolis and Royal Oak, Michigan. Those are coming. And I think a Toronto date is getting added. Don't quote me. Don't do the thing where you go, where's the link? It'll be there. I'm not going to hide the link. I'm going to make sure I'm going to be shouting it at you. Please click the link. Very excited about today's guest. Back on the show. It's been a bit. Very excited. So funny. Has a new podcast called Big Wigs. Anna Roisman, thank you for coming on.
Than's for having me.
In person.
I think the last time I did it was pandemic times.
Right. Yeah. And now we're in this huge, beautiful studio. We're here beneath the kumquats.
Netflix is really paying for all of it.
Yeah, Netflix. This is what happens.
Wow.
Those big Netflix dollarinos
It's
come
impressive.
on in. Listen, I like to show off. I'm a big show off. How have you been? Podcast is Bigwigs. It's you and Andrea
Lopez,
who's been on this show. You both are hilarious. You both do a ton of great impressions.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun.
Do you guys, is the whole episode an impression? Are you guys like, how do we do it?
Not the whole episode, but we definitely go into it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we'll do hot takes on, random news stories or trends or whatever as characters. Those are fun. We just kind of like roll into it. We like pimp each other out. Like I'll be like, hey, Teresa, what do you think of this?
Right. You know which characters they have in their sheath.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting there with like a bunch of characters in your bag of tricks and she's got hers. And it's like, oh, so what does that person think of this thing?
Exactly.
That's the thing. Impressions, you ever see impressions are tough because if you can do them on stage, you watch an audience, it is like the best day of their lives. If you can nail an impression on stage and you can go into whatever, like this person doing this thing, it is a bunny rabbit getting pulled out of the hat.
It really is.
Have you experienced that? Like, do you see people, do you do them on stage and people go, like, I watch the crowd. I love watching impressionists go on stage because I'm like, I need to see, like, I'll never get that reaction.
It's so funny. Yes, you will, first of all. But
I hope one day.
I feel like it's funny. I'm doing a one-woman show right now. I did a couple of them in New York, and they have a lot of my impressions in them. I never did my impressions on stage before this, really, because I edit the shit out of them on like TikTok and Instagram. So I'm so like, oh, well, that joke lands because I like cut it really well. So I was like, this was a challenge for me. Like, can I just do it on stage? And
I feel the same way. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
I understand what you're talking about. You're like, can I do this? Does this work? And like, I know, I've been, the show that I'm doing about family, like I used to have this joke about like my mom getting coffee and it never worked. But when it worked, or when people come up to me after the show, the people would go, oh my God, your mom getting coffee, like, oh my God. And like, I put it away, I go, I don't know. It's not about dating. It's not.
Right.
It's not there. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And now it's a part of the new show. And it's like, it's just harder to do. You go, I have to put aside my insecurities. And then when you start getting into it and like you really try, I'm sure you're getting people like, oh my, again, the magic, the bunny out of the hat.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. They love Hilaria when I do Hilaria Baldwin.
Oh my God. I love when you do Hilaria.
Thank you.
It's so much fun. I think I've talked about it before with you not here. I love it because she's from Weston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, she's like your neighbor.
We're the same age. Like, there's a lot in the news about comics making things up, and for the sole purpose. And again, this is like a hard thing to talk about as Joe Whitey. It's hard for me to be like, yeah, they're using tragedy to make money. I can't do that. I have no tragedy. I have none. I'm very lucky. I'm privileged in that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I would do if I could do that grift. Maybe I would do it. That's the thing. It's hard for me.
I commend her. Yeah. She's stuck to it for this many years.
She's never acknowledged it, has she?
She's never denied it.
Never denied it, never acknowledged it. She's never like apologized.
She there was an article where she was asked about it, like after it kind of all came out, because I think her high school friends kind of exposed her, but she kind of leaned in more and was like, this is how I identify. Like,
well, because I get it. From my perspective, it's her going, nothing makes me interesting. So now I have to create, and I don't want to work at being funny, or I don't want to work at like an original opinion.
Right.
So I will speak with an accent so that people just assume I have this, give me a space to be this interesting person.
Yeah.
Because she's been on the cover of like Latina magazines more than other Latinas, like, right? Isn't there like a magazine?
Probably.
There's a certain magazine, I think, that they were like, she's been on the cover like 8 times versus like 0 to like these other like Spanish, Latinx or whatever we're going with these days. And you're like, wow, you did it. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to get angry at these people because I don't know. Like, I'm not in a position to even, like, if I was out there being like, and when I grew up, I went to summer camp and things were really hard. I had 2 Power Wheels. Like, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if I would. If I could be like, sell the grift of like.
That's so funny.
Yeah, the Hilaria one.
I did it by accident, though. You know this, right?
Why?
Like, someone said to me when this all happened, they were like, you kind of look like her. And I was like,
interesting.
I do. And then like, literally this article came out and it was an 11-second, I'll never forget, because you know when you have a video that you don't mean to go viral and you have these, you walk down the street all the time and you're like saying something, you're like, wow, that blew up. I don't know why that.
I always see, if I see it like got like a certain amount of shares, I'm like, obviously this is a funny joke.
Yeah. And so it was like 11 seconds. I'm in my pajamas. I'm sitting on my couch and I was like, I too went to Boston Universidad. And I like said that, like, that's it. And it blew up.
Well, because people really don't like someone acquiring this. And again, I'm saying struggle, but like, you know, like it's like the person like, hey, where are you from? And they're like, I'm originally from Portugal. And you're like, did you grow up in Portugal? And they're like, no, I grew up in like New Jersey. Exactly. And you're like, well, what? And then you can feel an audience. Like you've done this on stage, right? Like where someone says that and they're like, original. And you're like, you could feel the audience be like, okay, what are you trying to convince us all? Right. Of? Like and again, struggle is probably the wrong word because it's like, I guess it's like interesting is what they're going for. And again,
I'm different than you. I'm unique. Right.
And we're,
diverse.
You know, as millennials, I think there's like a millennial drive for that. I want to have my own story. I want to be the center of, and I understand that. So I do understand where the itch they're trying to scratch, but sometimes you have to give up on that dream, you know?
You kind of do.
Maybe you should just admit you're just like all of us normies, you know? Like, man, Ilaria. Yeah, so you do, yeah, that's the one I'm sure people are just like,
people enjoy that one. I save her for the end of the show, but
yeah, it's a closing.
Yeah, but I have fun doing Kris Jenner. I think that's the most fun I have right now. Like,
well, you could really like. There's so many directions for people. I mean, I do
everywhere.
The holiday tweets I put up, and at the end, I always do a Kris Jenner one. I don't know why I started doing
it.
I just started doing it, and then people were like, they just want, you know, like again, like they're easy people to like make fun of, but like also I like them. I don't know why. Like I do like I have a certain respect for the Kardashians for some reason.
I love them. I can't live without them.
Do you watch them?
Yeah.
You're a fan.
Yeah.
See, that's why you can. Also, it has to be from an honest place where you like them.
I always liked them. Yeah.
There you go. So I want everyone to go follow Anna at Anna Roisman.
Oh, thanks.
On TikTok, on Instagram. She's everywhere. Big Wigs. What days does it come out?
Thursdays.
Add it to the Rotation Thursday podcast.
Rotation, baby.
Her and Andrea Lopez, two hilarious people doing just
you
shooting the shit.
On.
I would love to come on. I don't have. Wish I could do an impression.
You don't have to do an impression. We have, you know.
Nothing's more embarrassing than someone who doesn't do impressions trying to do an impression. I would go on and be like, I don't know. I don't have any in me. Then they would all just come off like, oh, this guy's a racist. Like, like I'm only going to do whites.
I was going to say, you know, when comedians get on stage and they like tease you and they're like, do you guys mind? I got some impressions. You guys mind if I do an impression? And everyone, and you're like, I'm like, who are they going to do? Like,
right.
What do they do?
You just hold on tight like you're on a roller coaster. You're like, where's this going to go?
You'll be like, this is an impression of a baby on a plane or something. And they'll be like, and you're like, oh, that was it. Oh, okay, that was the joke. Is you don't do an impression.
Are you guys ready for some impressions? There's a bunch of different versions. They either do an impression, or it's a bad impression, or it's like them doing the joke on that this is an impression.
Yes.
Those are the different turns.
Those scare me.
They do scare me. Hey, you want to hear an impression? Yes, now I do. Yeah. Let's get to the emails. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. We're sponsored. Life is stressful enough. We don't have time to worry about our personal style. Luckily, Stitch Fix has you covered. Here's what I like about Stitch Fix. You're going to get sent first you're going to take a quiz. You're going to answer a bunch of questions about what type of style you have, and they have personal stylists. They're going to learn what you like, hear about what you don't. They're going to put a box together and they're going to send it to you. And then you're going to get to try it on with your own mirrors, in your own space, on your own time. No person at the store, hey, is everything going okay? Are you going to buy anything, please? No. You can do it all in the comfy cozy of your own home. And then you got over 1,000 brands, and you can upgrade your look. They'll even show you head-to-toe outfit combinations, so you can just get dressed and go. If you don't like something, just send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free. This is an opportunity. You know, you're sitting there. It's the change of season. It's time to change your wardrobe. There might be something here for you. And I think I love what Stitch Fix does. Just the ability to use your own mirrors is like worth the price of admission, which There really isn't. We're going to give you some free money. Thanks, Stitch Fix. They just get me. They make me read this verbatim, okay? I just gave the most heartfelt endorsement. I gave you a good reason to get this, and then I have to read, thanks, Stitch Fix. They just get me, and they'll get you too. I don't know how much they get you. I know that I want to try on clothes in my own home. They have 1,000 brands. They have stylists that are going to hear what you have to say. I have these memories of going to like Bloomingdale's with my mom and her yelling at me, you don't like it? You don't like it? And I'd be like, they don't fit. They don't fit. And it's like, these are horrific memories. These literally hurt my soul. You don't have to do this anymore. You have someone who's caring and wants you to look good and wants to be your personal stylist. You're going to answer all these questions. They're going to listen to you. And then they're going to put together some great items. And if you don't like them, you send them back. But if you try today at stitchfix.com/JTrain, you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix, okay? So if you keep the whole box, you're going to get 25% off. That's free money. That's stitchfix.com/JTrain, stitchfix.com/JTrain. Are you ready, Anna Roisman?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. We have some great emails. I love just really thoughtfully written. Keep sending them in, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. I want to, we're here in Feather Nation Studios. We're thinking of making an upgrade, so I want people to keep listening and tell your friends. Hey, JTrain, esteemed guests, love your show. I'll get right to it. I have a neighbor who just moved in a couple of weeks ago. He's 27, I'm 34. He and I became fast friends. I could tell right away we had an instant chemistry. He is in sales, however, so I think he does have charm to everyone. He has invited me over every single night since he moved in. We hang out from about 9 to 1 a.m., almost every night. We stay up laughing a ton, watching videos, sharing memes, talking about our jobs, even deeper stuff like his mom passing away or my therapy stuff. Then we'll switch to playing chess or telling funny stories. He always says we are so alike, and it's so weird. He texts me throughout the day, too. He makes me laugh, and I have a great time with him. I do like him, and I find him very attractive, but I am hesitant about being next-door neighbors, so I haven't made a move, and neither has he. Is this just friendly neighbor who happens to be a lot like me? Should I definitely never make a move? Should I stop going over to his house to see if that sparks anything in him, or just give up on this prospect altogether? We have talked about our dating lives, and for context, he has said he is Jewish and probably will marry a Jewish woman, but anything could happen. He also isn't in a hurry to date, but has leads in Israel on a wife and has people in town also trying to set him up. He's pretty focused on his startup and doesn't care about having a girlfriend. Now that I'm writing this, it seems like I should just let it go. What do you think? Best neighbor in need. What do you think, Anna Roisman?
I think immediately I was like, oh my God, you got a roommate, but you have separate apartments. That's amazing. That's so fun.
That's like the best case scenario for a roommate.
I mean,
2 different doors.
Right.
Yeah.
You play chess, you make food, you have fun.
Right. The chess thing is wild.
Yeah, none of it's had sex.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they hang out every single night, which is difficult because if you all of a sudden drop on a bomb on him and say, "Hey, I like you. Should we take this to another level?" Like that ruins the friendship, right? If he's not into it. And then I don't know. I think you answered it yourself too when you were like, "He's not interested in a girlfriend."
It's friend. There's no friendship here. No. He just moved in.
Yeah, and he's 27 and having fun in New York. And
right, wherever he is. Yeah, 9 to 1 a.m. But whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What city? Like, to me, there are things guys say that are like, hey, I'm not going to do anything that would make... There's things guys do where they're like, they're smarter than the average bear. Like, people think we're stupid. But we are. I'm not saying we're not stupid, but what he's doing is like very much a play. Like It's like, make no promises, let them come to you. I'm here. I got this penis. If you're looking to suck it, who am I to say no? It's like he's doing a lot of like, I'll take what I can get, but I'm never going to make a move that could lock me into anything. So when he says like at first when she was writing, like, we hang out from 9 to 1 a.m. every night. I'm like, yeah, he likes you. Right. Okay. At a baseline, likes something about you. He's attracted at the bare minimum. And then when she goes into, well, he mentioned he has a lead on a wife in Israel.
Yeah, that confused me.
That doesn't confuse me at all. That's
Really?
him being like, I'm going to marry. I'm giving you the reason we don't work out as serious. But I'll play chess while we hook up until I go to Israel and take on my wife. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like he brings up all these big things. And it's like the idea of like, I want to marry Jewish, but who knows what could happen.
Right. That's the dangle. Like, stay here, though, you know?
Right.
You never
Stick
know.
around. You never know. Maybe it's a little dance for me.
Yeah.
You know, woman, you know, like.
Also, has it only been 2 weeks? Because I'm like, this is an intense.
It's very intense.
I've lived in an apartment for 6 years. I do not even know my neighbor's name. Like, this is.
At this point, I know 2 neighbors, don't know their names. They live together. They got dogs, and we just interacted for the first time in like 3 years.
There
they
you
were
go.
out and I say, I literally saw them in the elevator. I go, where are the dogs? That was the first time we spoke. Yeah, the idea of like come on over 9 to 1 a.m. We'll play some chess. We'll play some Bachelorette. It's weird, and it's only because of attraction. And she's not wrong for being like, what's the deal here?
Yeah.
Like she is right.
No, you don't hang out with someone that much and not think. If you're both single and you're spending all this time together.
Talking about your dating life?
Yeah.
I think what she needs to do, and again, I'm not in the business of telling you, like, I like when people find things out for themselves.
Sure.
Like, if I were her, she obviously is attracted to this guy and thinks, hey, let's see what this could be. Mm-hmm. And she's a little ahead of herself because she's like, he's also no hurry to date, but it has leads in Israel and a wife. It has people in town trying to set him up. So she's thinking of a relationship. She's not thinking of like, how do I like fuck this guy?
Yeah, no,
And
that could happen.
But that's the thing. That's what he wants, and he doesn't want to make decisions beyond that. Mm-hmm. So that's why he hasn't done anything. He's like, I'm going to do nothing. Let her come on to me. It'll be her fault if things fall through. She's like, oh my God, what if we date for 2 years and then we're neighbors? And then, you're way ahead.
Yeah.
You need to readjust, and, you need to let him know what you want. And what you want is like, hey, I think we get along. I'd like to go on a date.
Right. Let's leave the apartment.
Right.
Let's go
Right
out.
now, this is all an easy way for him. He just moved in. He's like, I got this girl back at the apartment. He doesn't even care if the neighbor's weird. He's like, well, he isn't even thinking of that. He's just like, I'll let you know I'm here to hook up, but not because I got a Jewish wife in Israel, which is crazy. If I were her, I'd say, hey, I've had a lot of fun hanging out. I'm feeling like this is easier advice to give than to do.
Sure.
But you have to let them know, I'm kind of feeling a certain way. Feel like we get along on a lot of things. I'd like to go on a date. If you're down for that, make a plan and I'm in.
Yeah.
If not, I've obviously gotten a little ahead of myself and I need to pull back a little, and I can't keep doing slumber parties every night.
Yeah. The first thing she mentioned, too, were the ages. And a 27-year-old guy and a 34-year-old girl are very different ages.
Right.
I mean,
he's doing 27-year-old guy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a prospect to get serious, but I am not going to get serious.
And she's like, I don't need to play games. I hung out with this guy. I like him. I want to go on a date. I want to have a relationship. I'm at that point in my life. So I feel like it's gonna come to a head at some point.
Yeah.
Be honest.
But that's the thing. It can go in the wrong direction because right now what he's doing, he's like basically putting the cheese in the trap. Like he's basically like, come over, or, whatever, watch a movie. Let me tell you about my life. My mom passed away. Like, like he's doing a lot of stuff. Like, and I'm not saying it's not serious to reveal to you that his mom passed away, but it's not something he's relating to. I only tell this to prospective girlfriend. And that's the hard part because she's going, well, she's making a lot of detective moves. He said all these things. So it must mean I am ahead of girl on Bumble.
Right. I'm more important. He's confiding in me.
Right.
He's giving me,
Guys do like the comfort of like just the comfort with someone. Like, and it's not related 10 steps down the line.
Yeah.
A lot of times. So that, to me, you don't need to give up on this, but you need to like stop. You need to readjust how the hangouts are happening because you have to admit these mean more to me than maybe they do to you. I can't speak for you. These mean more to me. I would just say that.
I'm also curious. I was going to say, if she goes on dates, does she tell him about it? Like see how he reacts when she's got other plans.
Well, right. Hey, I can't hang tonight. I have a date.
Yeah.
maybe that's like a first step. And then he's like, oh, so when are you going to come over? Hey, I'm kind of like looking to date.
Yeah.
You know, I have a really good back and forth with you. I'm not sure. I can't speak to what you feel from this, but that's like that's totally the advice.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't speak for you, but I can tell you our time playing chess has meant a little bit more to me than just anything. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Anna Roisman. At Anna Roisman. Big Wigs. That's the podcast every Thursday.
Yeah.
The one woman show, one person show. Are you doing it again?
I am doing it. I'm going to Philly on November 16th. I'm doing it in Philly.
We got Philly people.
Yeah, come out.
Go. Where are you going to do it?
I'm doing it at World Cafe Live.
I've been there. Great spot.
Cool.
Boyfriends and butt stuff. we go around the dial.
We love this subject.
I mean, we're in. Jared, feather. I'll get right to it. I'm about a month in seeing a guy who I dated 5 years ago.
Okay.
You ever done this? You ever like had a breakup and then get back together?
Not with anyone serious,
Okay.
but like someone I've hooked up with, yes.
And then tried for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We stopped seeing each other because what we wanted wasn't in alignment. He didn't want to be exclusive, and I did. A story as old as time. I was recently divorced and didn't have a lot of dating experience. In the last few years, I've gained lots of experience. And while I'm looking for a long-term relationship, I don't force it. Since reconnecting, things have been great. Weekly dates, tons in common, consistent communication. The sex is amazing. I do believe, like, we dated each other 5 years ago and we weren't ready, and now you're back together. It can work.
I think so.
It could happen.
I think timing is everything.
Right. And also, like, hey, we get along in this certain way. I've thought about you a lot. Like, also, you've gone away from each other enough. Like,
she was married.
Well, I guess
Right?
so. You're right.
Really gone
We didn't
away.
stop seeing each other because I was recently divorced and didn't have a lot of dating experience. No, it seemed like she was recently divorced. Then they dated.
Okay.
And then
I got it.
Now she's got a lot of dating experience.
She got married and divorced.
No, that could happen too.
Yeah.
But, okay. So when I asked, he was weekly dates, tons in common, consistent communication, and the sex is amazing. When I asked, he was honest and told me that there's one other person he's seeing, but it isn't serious and won't go anywhere. The guy is currently the only one I'm seeing. That's a little weird. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be open, but it's like, okay, yeah, that's just staying there. Like, he didn't say I ended it for you.
Just FYI.
Right. Just there's another person. Don't worry about it. He also expressed that he likes anal, but that's something that I like to reserve for monogamous boyfriends. I like that she talks about anal like it's
It's special.
Right. I guess so. It could be special to some. It's like in her cellar waiting for a big night.
And he's like, yeah, that's why I keep Maggie on the side.
Right.
She's into it.
Anal bitch. Right now. I'm just enjoying getting to know him again. We're having a lot of fun. He hasn't brought up anal aside from the one time, but I'm wondering if it will come across like I'm trying to force him to commit to exclusivity if he does bring it up, and my response is anal is for boyfriends. She should put that on her door. Before thy enter, anal is for boyfriends.
Get a sweatshirt.
Anal is for boyfriends. That could be good merch.
That could be good merch.
Good hat. Anal's for boyfriends. Anal is for boyfriends. I don't know. Anal's for boyfriends, but maybe it wouldn't come across.
I also think you don't need to. That doesn't need to be the thing you tell him.
Right. I don't think like, no. Mm-hmm. Don't touch the tussie. No, that's for boyfriends. Like, it's not like dessert.
Yeah.
Gotta eat your dinner.
Because you could just say, I'm actually not in the mood.
Right. This isn't right. How about no?
Yeah.
I don't want to do it with you.
Make him wait.
I don't want to do it with you.
There you go.
Like, that's the thing. Well, okay. You could be, again, they broke up 5 years ago. They're back together now. You is a general you. Like, I don't want to do it with you. That's okay. Oh, well, and he's only brought it up once. We have to acknowledge. It's not like he's just sitting there like, when is it going to happen? He only said it once. It's something he likes.
It's only been a month, so.
Yeah, one anal a month. I think you get one anal request, like. I'm trying to force him in this. Anal is for boyfriends. AFB, bitch.
It's like a song.
Anal is for boyfriends.
And you are not my boyfriend.
None of you fuck boys will touch this anus too, cause the tussy is for boyfriends only, and you're through.
Okay, go off. You're
right?
good.
I got this. This balloon knot will not be touched by you, cause anal's for boyfriends only on the... I don't know, I'm running out of gas. There's something here. Anal AFB is a great
AFB is
merch.
amazing.
Is there a better way to say that? I think we just gave it. Like,
Couple of-
how
yeah,
about
couple
no?
Not in the mood.
Hold my boundaries and keep this great thing going. For context, he's 46. I'm 39. Thanks for doing the Lord's work. So what do we think? I don't think it's as big as she's making it into.
No.
She's being a little anal about this. I do think if you're in the throes of a physical relationship and you're like, hey, I love anal. And then you go, I've enjoyed, I think it's okay to say I've enjoyed that in the past.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
End of sentence, right?
Yeah. I don't think you need to worry this is a deal breaker for this guy. I feel like, I think that's what she's worried about, is if she doesn't do it or allow him, then he's probably going to, he's already told her, I'm dating someone else. Just don't worry about her. But I am seeing someone else. So I guess that's pressure on her, but I think you can just be true to yourself. I think if it is reserved for boyfriends, then make him wait. If he becomes your boyfriend, then, entertain the idea. But,
right. You could get a tattoo above your ass. Get a tattoo of back reserved for boyfriends. Get a tramp stamp.
Yeah.
Is that even? That's probably a bad phrase.
Wait until he breaks up with the side piece.
Right. Commitment only, just above your asshole. I don't know. I think she's making. I don't think she probably has two fears. One, I say no to anal, and he's like, I gotta go.
Right.
Or two, she says anal, with this key you shall get anal, and he uses the key and then dumps her the minute he's put one in her pooper. I don't think a 46-year-old man, to me, this is a young man's game to not understand. But that's a bad assumption, I guess.
I don't know. I think it's just like she's clearly, she dated him when he was 41.
Right.
Did they do anal back then? Like, I wonder, I have questions because I'm like, is this something new for him that he's like, hey, I got into this in the last 5 years?
Right. It's funny because sexual adventure doesn't really, it is fool's gold.
Yeah.
People think sexual adventure comes with like random partners. It can, but like you're really like walking in the woods with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to find that. Sexual adventure generally comes with someone you feel secure with, that you trust, that you have a long-standing relationship with, that you can confide in and talk it out, and you don't have to like, when you have sex, you don't like suck it in, like you're just like totally yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way to talk about it with him. Like, hey, I'm enjoying our sex life right now. If he's pushing, which it doesn't sound like he has.
She said the sex is great.
Sex is great. Keep enjoying. I think if it comes up again, and he's like, hey, like, if he starts moving his pinky towards your anus, hey, I'm not really looking to get adventurous with someone I'm not committed to. And that's it.
That's fine.
Plain and simple. And then if you lose him because of that, you were going to lose him anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I was going into like the old man thing of it, like where you go, as a 38-year-old guy, if someone told me like, hey, this whole thing doesn't exist unless we're committed, I go, okay, now I have to make that a part of my decision making. How, do I want to really, I wouldn't take that decision lightly. I would take it, I'd be like, oh, I'm really like messing with someone. So I think letting him know, like, hey, like this is kind of something I would only do with someone I'm committed with. I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying, that's.
I also don't think you have to do it yet. If it's going well and you guys are having sex and you're going out and you're having great dates, I don't think this needs to be like sentence number 1 next week when you're like, hey, by the way, this is for something I'm committed to. Like, roll with it for now.
Roll with it. I think, especially if he had mentioned it 5 different times in the first month. I would say that he's only looking for one thing.
For anal.
Right? You know, like this doesn't seem to be the case. Mentioned once is like, yeah, this is something in the same way that you mentioning, no, I would do that with a boyfriend.
Right. And for all we know, he's probably like, wouldn't it be like, I want to show her I've changed. Like, hey,
right,
I'm like sexually like advanced now.
I'm
like,
an anal guy.
Yeah.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Anna Roisman. At Anna Roisman. Go follow Instagram, TikTok. Kris Jenner. Ilaria Baldwin. Who else?
I do Julia Fox.
Oh, the Julia Fox stuff is great.
Thank you.
That's like a full-on immersion.
I do go out pretty naked into public. Yes.
How do people know when you're out doing that they're like, that's a Julia Fox thing, or they think that's you?
I don't know what they think. They don't. No one looks twice in New York or LA. I've only done it in those cities, and I'm like, no one gives a shit. Like,
and you live with your boyfriend, right?
I do, yeah.
So
make him film it.
Oh, so he films it.
Yes.
That's funny because I just imagine because like I've done like when I do the Bachelor live stream, like I'm alone in here putting on a wig.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if someone was watching, like, I'd be like, what are you doing? Do you have like a moment where he's like, what's the plan here?
Kind of. It's funny because I feel like in the beginning of our relationship, I'd be like, hey, can you film this for He works in production. This isn't like a weird thing for him to do.
Yeah, but I've had girlfriends who don't work in production.
Right.
I'm like, hey, can you tape me doing this like bizarre thing?
Like, I think he used to be embarrassed at first, and then it switched. He would be like, you know, he'd be like, Anna, like, there's kids around. Like, you can't show your ass in the middle of this park. There's a fucking stroller right here.
Right.
And then there came a point where I guess he was on a tighter schedule or something. And I'd be like, I can't do it here. Like, there's like a child. He'd be like, we have 30 minutes to get this done. Like, we're filming this however you want to, you know, it doesn't matter who's around.
He's Dick Clark Productions. He's like, we got a schedule to keep.
Time is money.
Right.
Yeah, let's go.
Come on, let's go, Julia. Yeah.
I did have on the Julia video though. I should have done it further away from like where I live, because I had a lot of people being like, "Oh my god, I go to that coffee shop."
That's hilarious. Yeah, now you gotta not go to those places. Pregnant in a bachelorette party. Jared, love the show. Thank you for helping me with all my dating problems. I recently got married in June. I could not be happier. Congratulations.
Aww, mazel.
My best friend is getting married next year in May. I am beyond excited for her and honored to be her bridesmaid. When discussing bachelorette parties, she mentioned she wants to do Napa Valley. Amazing wine tours, bougie, spa views, all the good stuff, which I am all here for. On to my problem. My husband and I will start trying for a baby sometime in the new year. Napa might fall into the time we are trying or within the first 3 to 4 months. You may know that, but lots of women don't share their pregnancy news within the first trimester because of concerns of miscarriage, which are highest then. Obviously, I won't be able to drink or hide the fact that I am not drinking. Also, unlike other bachelorette destinations, this is one that centers around wine and might not be included. And I might be included and pay for activities that I cannot really participate in. I'm close with my friend and feel comfortable getting vulnerable and telling her about my situation. I just don't want to share it with the entire 12 girls on the trip until I pass the first trimester successfully. I also don't want to lie and say I'm doing the 75 challenge or I'm sober or whatever, or on a freaking Napa trip only to announce I'm pregnant after a month or so. I know most of the girls there really well and consider them my friends, but I'm not ready to share news prematurely and or want to lie to them. What do I do? This is an extremely personal and private situation that I hate. It is magnified by the fact that me and the wine enthusiasts of the group won't be drinking and almost obligated to give an explanation. I am struggling with giving fake excuse. If I go, then admitting to lie after. What do I do? Thanks for all you do. I miss wine already. What do we think?
I think slow down, because you're not even pregnant yet. Yeah.
Yeah, like I this is like a worry when...
This is like creating a problem you don't have. I don't know. I feel like life is so unpredictable, and you're going to be so excited. If you want kids, this is obviously you do. You're planning on it. You're planning the time. I think it's such a blessing. And you know what? Napa will always be there. You know, Napa's going to be there the following year, and this is like one weekend. And if this is your life decision, then I don't think you need to worry about this yet.
There's like, does this email come in because this podcast exists? I'm encouraging people to write in with your problems, or like, here's a problem I'm just thought of. So I don't know how much this matters to this person. Like, I don't know if they're writing it in because they know this is a place that we're going to discuss it, or if they're actually concerned about it. Because I'm with you. Yeah. Like, first of all, this feels very millennial. I need to make sure everything in front of me is going to have no awkwardness whatsoever. Yeah. To me, you got to let this happen. You got to let the wine bachelorette party happen. It's your friend's bachelorette party. Let them make the decisions they make. You have to live your life. You have to try and get pregnant because you want to have a baby. Great. Good for you. When these two intersect, two things are going to be true. One, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Two, you're on a Napa wine trip with a bunch of other women around your age and generation. They all get it.
Right.
Like, and if they don't,
some of them might even be pregnant too.
Right. Right. And all of you have to do this lie, and everyone knows, hey, this first try. I think, again, I'm making a very empathetic assumption.
Yeah.
But if you're on a wine bachelorette party with a bunch of 29-year-olds, 30-year-olds, whatever it is, and one woman's like, I'm just not feeling right, I'm going to be out on drinking, I don't think you go, well, what do you mean?
Right.
Aren't you the wine enthusiast? What's going on? How come Miranda is not drinking the whole trip? Like, I think you're imagining a crazy person.
It sounds like a Real Housewives scene, where they're like forced to be like, Jared, how dare you?
Right.
You're not sipping the wine, but
and then I gotta go, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, that's not gonna happen. And if people do things behind closed doors, if you say to your friend who you're close with and it's her bachelorette party, hey, I just have to let you know, like, I'm in the first trimester and like this is happening. You'll do that because you just said you feel comfortable with a friend. Sure. And then the rest of the group, she'll be on your side to be like, who cares? And you're going to have fun. The bachelorette party is about having fun with your friends.
Yeah.
I've been to Napa. I've been to Sonoma. You can have a fun time there without drinking the wine.
I bet there's great food.
Great food, well done service, well done spas,
beautiful views. You're just gonna be
the best breakfasts, like all these things are like I think you're getting ahead in a way.
Absolutely. And I think just take it day by day, wait until you are pregnant
right
to start worrying, but
right, let's let these things happen. I think also this type of stress, you don't need it. Let's concentrate on pregnant, and then you're having a bachelorette party, cool.
Yeah.
Everyone goes through this. Like, that's the other thing. Like, everyone has their pregnancy and everyone has a bachelorette party. And maybe you say, hey, I'm so sorry. I've been just feeling sick lately. I can't make the party.
Yeah, that's okay,
if worse comes to worse. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast @gmail.com is not asking for my number a no. Dearest Papa Train and guest, I'm a 27-year-old female, and lately I've been trying way harder to put myself out there and meet men in the wild. I've been practicing approach men first out at bars and starting. I've been practicing approaching men first out at bars and starting conversations. Most of the time, the guys are super nice, and the conversation flows pretty well. They keep the conversation going longer than just being polite. But by the end of the conversation, when one of us have to leave, they never ask for my number. Instead, I usually offer them my number right before one of us walks away. They take it, but never end up reaching out. I know guys are used to being rejected a ton, and it's part of the dating. It's just part of dating. But is a guy not asking for my number a sign that he isn't interested? Should I just walk away because they would ask for my number if they wanted it? Sincerely, did I type the wrong number? I'm sorry this is happening. I'm proud of you for going out there and being like,
we're gonna have different answers here, I bet. Probably.
What do you think?
Well, I would think I think we're not in the give out your number age anymore. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's me and I'm just like old school, but
I don't mind old school, new school. To me, like, let's control the things we can control.
Right.
To me, this person is going out of bars, talking to men. Hey, this was a nice conversation for me. Let's speak in the key of me.
Yeah.
I think the minute you go into him and you lose power, I think you lose confidence. Like, it's not worth your time, because anytime I start putting anytime I get in my head and try to think of the thoughts of someone else has for me, I always go the most negative.
Absolutely.
Very rarely do I go, well, they think I'm the most amazing person in the world. No, I go so negative that it actually becomes destructive to my own mental health.
With everything. With friends, with
totally
dating, with jobs. You're like, oh,
right.
God, I wore the wrong shirt. I did this. You're going to think everything. Yeah.
And it's like, honestly, they're not thinking about you as much as you think of you. Mm-hmm. And then, honestly, they're not that mean.
Yeah.
And I think, again, I'll give you a personal example. Friday night, I'm at the Comedy Cellar. I did a spot. I'm sitting on this bench. This girl comes up the stairs, sits directly like on top of me, like literally like sharing leg space, like literally like halves my leg.
Okay.
And she was a little drunk. I'm completely sober. I got one more spot to go. It's like 12:30 at night. It's late. And she's like, oh, we're just chit-chatting. She stands up and she's like, okay, I'm going to go. And I go, well, it's nice to meet you. And I could tell she wanted me to ask for her number. I didn't want to ask for her number. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That was my personal thing. I don't want to ask for her number. Nice to meet you. Handshake. Goodbye. There were some people around that were like, boy, what was that all about? I was like, I think she was kind of lingering because she wanted me to ask for her number. I can only speak for me. Maybe she didn't want that, whatever it might be. But I am saying I don't want to give my number. That's fine. If she had looked at me and been like, hey, this was a really nice time talking to you. Here's my number. I would not look at her and be like, look at this fucking idiot.
Right.
No, I'm going to take the number. I'm going to make a decision that's best for me, not for us. We're not an us.
Yeah.
And I'm going to move on with my life. I think she's right and I'm right to say, here's my number. Nice chit chat. Got to go.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's fine. I don't think that's like a negative. I don't think that puts you in a lesser position. I think it makes you more powerful to be like, hey, I enjoyed our chit chat. Here's my number.
Yeah.
Let me give you my number and I got to get out of here. And then that's right. Like this whole idea of like, if he wanted to, he would. If he wanted to, he would. To me, a line like that comes from the least confident place. It comes from a place where you're a bag in the wind, that you have no power or decision-making or taste.
Yeah.
You have taste. You enjoyed their presence. You enjoyed their conversation. You would like more of that. Here's my number. If you text me, I'm here. You know where to find me, right?
That's the best advice, honestly, because I feel like when I don't like if someone asks for my number, but I think this person, she already has the power. She's already built the confidence to go out, talk to the people. What's dropping your number? That's no harm. That's fine.
Right. Everything she's doing is like fun and awesome.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like, I'll stop doing these positive things. I'll stop acting on my own taste. That's the option she's given us. It's an option between, should I keep giving out my number to people I enjoy? Or should I stop because I should assume that they don't enjoy me?
Right. No.
That's a horrible, what a horrible perspective.
Yeah,
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Anna Roisman at Anna Roisman. We got time for how many more, Shelby? What are we looking at here? 2 more? Awesome. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Keep sending in. Before we get to our next email, I'm going to give a trigger warning. This is going to go serious. You ready?
Okay.
Trigger warning. It's going to be dealing with, what are we dealing? Shelby, how would we present this? Just so people know what we're going to get into. This domestic violence-ish.
Okay.
Not, and I say ish because it's just trigger warning. JTrain. Love streaming the Ick Show and so excited to see you in Atlanta.
There you go.
I hope you had a good time. Here's some history. I'm the youngest of 3. My parents had a shotgun wedding, and my dad is 11 years younger than my mom. My dad developed alcoholism as self-medication and started cheating on my mother. He also became violent at home when intoxicated. When I was in middle school, my dad ended up incarcerated. My mom divorced, and we all had a restraining order against him. In high school, an exception to the restraining order was made for me and my dad to write letters to each other. Okay. Yeah. But it was a whole process and didn't last long due to lawyers. Since becoming an adult, and there's no longer a restraining order, my dad occasionally reaches out via social media, birthdays, holidays, like a bad ex, and we chat a bit. I'm now in my late 20s and married. My dad and I have actually been talking for weeks and proposed meeting up for the first time in 17 years in August.
17.
Wow. It will always be different between us, but I'm open to rebuilding a relationship. My husband is from a different culture where marriage is truly sacred. So all that my dad did makes him a perpetual terrible person in my husband's eyes. So do I go meet my dad? How do I discuss this with my husband? I know I probably need a therapist, but I spend my money on comedians.
I love it.
What do you think?
Oh, that's tough.
This is tough. And again, we are not professionals. We are not therapists.
No.
We're just two people with opinions. Hearing your email, not having to make eye contact with you is kind of a big part of this podcast.
Yeah.
It's like we can just spout off.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry for what happened in your life. You sound like you're handling it
very well.
In a very, just the way you wrote the email, seems like you've adjusted based on the circumstance that you've been put in. What do you think?
I feel like you've grown over time for sure. And I'm going to speak personally. I feel like I can relate a little bit. I do have a father who's sober, and growing up, with that in mind, I feel like at the end of the day, your immediate family is your immediate family, no matter what. And I know it sounds like her husband, he knows that. He understands that. She said marriage is, sacred to him.
So that would mean, you would assume, family is sacred to him.
Family is sacred to him, yeah. And I think that he's there for you. I think if you want to entertain the idea, you're not saying, I'm about to go and have this really, crazy, close relationship with my father. You want to see him for the first time in 17 years. You've been in touch a little bit. I think go meet your father. I think, I don't know. I don't think.
There's a lot of curiosity too, I'm sure she has, where she's like, what's this going to be like? Like some of that is like, that's like a big part of this. Like you kind of can't admit. It's like, you want to be like, oh, I got to meet my dad. And some of it is just like, what the fuck is this going to be?
Right.
I'm sure for her.
And it's like, maybe it's some kind of closure, or you're going to learn a little bit more about yourself. Like, you're doing it for you.
I think
you're not doing it for anyone else.
I totally agree. And I think there's a little bit of like order of operations here, because she's worried about the husband.
Yeah.
I think you got to go have a talk with your husband first before anything. Hey, this is what I've been thinking about lately. I've been talking. My dad reaches out every now and again. He's proposed meeting. I don't know where I stand. Like, I think going with this email, like,
she wants his blessing, essentially.
Right. And you gotta I think what she's doing, because she's never said, my husband said XYZ. She's like, he finds marriage sacred and he'll perpetually be a bad person to him. I think these are assumptions you're making. I think you have to sit with him and hear him talk this out with you. I think a husband, his job in this scenario would be talk it out with you. It's not to judge you for even if he does that, you guys have a different issue. To judge you for even thinking about this is a little bit mean.
Yeah.
So I think starting with your husband and being like, I'm thinking about this, and seeing that he's probably, I would hope, going to empathize with you and go, well, why, what brings you this up?
Right.
And then you and your husband, because I would also assume safety. I want to be safe. Right. I want to feel safe. So maybe it's you go with your husband. Maybe you go, and maybe you and your husband discuss a plan for where it's going to happen. And you start to envision what this meeting is going to be like in a safe, the world eyes on us type of way. You're not revealing where you live. I think there's a lot, again.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is someone who's been to jail, and I believe in rehabilitation, but you want to make sure you're covering your tracks here. So I think talking with your husband about it, thinking about your safety, coming up kind of with a plan together where you'd feel comfortable. Maybe he comes with you, whatever it happens. And then once it's safe, I think you can enjoy this more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's safe. Once you go, husband's on board, we have a whole plan for where this is going to be. We've told maybe some other friends and family to let them know, I'm going to be here at this time with my dad. I'm letting you know. Telling your other siblings, hey.
Yeah.
Getting the community involved, I think will make you feel better, where you see people go, no, go meet your dad. You get a couple thumbs up. Then this becomes a little bit more attainable. Yeah,
because right now it feels like you have a secret. You want to go and do this, and he doesn't approve of it, and he only knows the bad stuff from when you grew up. And people can change, and maybe they can have a nice relationship at this point in their lives. So.
And you even said it's never going to be the same. Again, you don't even know that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be, again, I would assume that too, but I would go, we don't know what this is going to be.
Right.
Maybe it's someone that again, rehabilitation does exist.
Sure.
Not to say it will, but that's your hope.
Yeah.
Right? Is that you go, wow, we have this new relationship. I'll never forget the past, but maybe there's a different type of future, whatever. But I think let's get everyone let's get the community with a go ahead, because that'll make you feel better.
Yeah.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Anna Roisman @Anna Roisman. Okay, we'll go to a more fun one.
Okay.
Okay. Okay to pursue my ex's friend. My ex's friend. Okay. Long-time listener, first-time writer. I need some advice on navigating a tricky situation. I, 38 female, ended a 5-year relationship at the beginning of 2022. Okay. While in the relationship, I became friendly with my significant other's friend. Let's call him Peter. I was pretty attracted to Peter from the first time I met him. Well, don't tell your ex. let's
stay away with Peter again today.
Yeah. Peter, what's going on with Peter? During the pandemic, we got to know each other better as we did more outdoor activities together with friends. I learned we had a lot in common. At the time, Peter was married, but his wife wasn't very outdoorsy, so she was often absent from these get-togethers. Wow. This is reading like a Penthouse forums. Fast forward to 2022, I got out of my long-term relationship right around the same time Peter and his wife separated and eventually divorced. Since the breakup, I lost touch with Peter as he was really my ex's friend first. My ex and I remained on good terms, even catching up every now and again after taking a 3-month hiatus to heal from the breakup. Fast forward again to June 2023, this past June. My ex announced he was moving back to his home country halfway across the world. Lo and behold, days before my ex was set to leave the country for good, Peter calls me out of the blue to ask me a benign question about something I have domain expertise in. I found the timing of the call funny, as my ex was really the only remaining connection I had to Peter. At the end of the call, he jokingly says, "Now that my ex is moving away, we can finally fulfill our love."
Oh, my.
Oh, so he's into it.
Peter.
Yeah, Peter, coming out hot.
Whoa.
I laughed nervously as I was caught off guard, but I was super excited. We left it at talk to you soon. Since then, we have had no other contact than the occasional pocket dial from me to him. Whoops. And a couple GIF reaction texts from him regarding said pocket dial. It's been a few weeks since this call. I don't know what to make of this situation. If he was interested, he would pursue me, right? Maybe he feels awkward given his friendship with my ex. Yes. Mm-hmm. I know he's now working remotely in another city for the summer. Is there a best way to convey to him that I'm interested? Maybe I haven't made it obvious enough, or should I just let this go and accept he's just not that into me? Sincerely, hot for my ex's friend.
I feel like we both reacted to the Peter call just like she did. We're like, oh,
whoa,
okay.
Peter.
Pursue the love.
I guess love. What? Peter, what did you just say to me?
Yeah.
That's not how we talk. Here's what's going on. Peter's attracted to you. He kind of made it known with this, the love thing.
Yeah.
He's felt what you felt. I generally believe, if you feel something, they feel something.
Yeah, it's not one-sided. You guys had a lot in common. You chatted. You hung out outdoors. Whatever.
Right. You've done outdoors things. Here's the thing that stops him. You live in 2 different cities. I don't know what to make.
Do they?
She writes, I know he's working remotely in another city for the summer. I think you go, why make something into something it can't be? Mm-hmm. If I were him, I'd be like, I said this kind of flirty thing. It got a kind of a reaction. Then she butt dials me. She never really pounced on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to let lie.
Yeah.
And I think he's like, why would I, I think guys love vague relationships.
They do.
We love just having someone that maybe we could contact later, and that's what he's doing.
Relationship.
Right. He knows you're friendly. You are friendly places for a text. You've gotten the butt dial, sent the GIF. I'm sure you did the laugh reaction. All is hunky-dory. And he's like, I'm not going to sit here and go, I need you, I want you, when do we meet up?
Right.
It becomes, that's a rope I can pull on when.
Right. Because he's not in the same city as you.
Right. Why would he do anything?
Yeah.
So, it's funny. Guys like vague relationships and women like answers. Mm-hmm. You want answers. Should I say I'm interested? Well, what do we do? He said that flirty thing. It's he's going to do nothing. Yeah. He's going to be vague.
But it's not because he's not interested in you.
Right.
She's like, is he just not interested? No, he is probably interested in you. He said that. That wasn't just a joke out of the blue 2 years later.
Right. It's weird. He's not into you enough to stop his life, run to you in your city and go, it's always been you. It's been you the whole time. Yeah. That's
what movie is that?
It's these rom-coms that let us believe someone just throws their life aside. Most people keep their life while keeping you as a flirty option, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so if you want answers to this, you can get them. They won't be satisfying. If you say, hey, I just caught a vibe, I'd love to get drinks sometime, he'll go, would love to. I kind of have that vibe too. And then nothing's going to happen because you're going to go, well, you're in that city, I'm in this city, and it's going to become this logistical planning nightmare, and you're never going to come to a conclusion. And then it's going to be like, kind of like has someone half going down on you. That's what these generally go. So you can live with the knowledge that, like, when he's in town, maybe I'll reach out and I'll send a risky text. But I don't think you're going to get answers to your questions until you're in the same town.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would wait. I would just wait for it. I don't know.
You have to do what he's doing. Because what he's doing does offer you the most answers and most satisfaction. Because he's going, all right, I think there's something here. Not in the same city, so I'm not going to, like, spend money to make this happen. Like,
I think guys think that way. Like,
absolutely.
They're just like, well, what would that mean? To go on a date, I'd have to book a flight and go to this town, and I'm not going to be there for anything. Like, I always think, guys think very logistically, and we're like, and the girl's like, I can make it work, like we'll see each other once a month, and we'll be in love, and so it won't matter. We'll see each other more because you're right. We grew up with these like ideas, like it doesn't matter, love will conquer all. Love defies,
And what he's thinking is like, I don't got enough Delta miles to make this thing work. So I'll just be okay with someone that I know is kind of flirty with me.
Yeah, I tell my friends in Brooklyn and like Queens, I'm like, ooh. I don't, or like Harlem and like, downtown Brooklyn. I'm like, that's a long-term commitment. That's hard.
That's a financial commitment. No.
So the Ubers.
I think if she said, hey, I think here's what would be the best case scenario for her. If I was to give her like a good plan, text him right now. Hey, I keep thinking of our conversation. It was really nice to hear from you. Next time you're in town, shoot me a text. Would love to get together.
It like leaves the ball in his court. And
totally.
If he's into it, he'll shoot you that text.
Right. and then you get an answer then, not now, because you're not going to get answers now. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Anna Roisman, thank you so much
Thanks
for coming
for having me.
Fantastic.
So fun. I love
so
this.
much fun. Everyone go follow Anna. So funny. @Anna Roisman on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Big Wigs. That's the podcast every Thursday. I'm Jared Freed. We're here every Monday with your emails, your stories, your questions. Keep sending them in. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Back next week. Boom.